day, and we had dial-up up until about 2005, 2006.
Okay.
So it's but I mean now, like it's just everything's just high speed. Like you just get it straight to your phone through the networks. Like you just have 5G is coming. Like it's going to be faster than most people's home internet.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's crazy. And that is another thing. I think it's changed, or it is changing more rapidly.
Mhm.
And I mean, maybe that's the inevitable pace of technology. But like,
I think it's also because every time a new technology comes into place, that new technology aids into developing or different technology much faster. For example, the 5G internet would help in probably would be a catalyst in developing other technologies like robotic laser surgery from different parts of the world, because the internet is so fast and reliable that people can actually operate somebody on through the internet. That's a technology that's not there. It's there, but nobody uses it at a mass level. And I think that would start happening. That I, being a doctor, I could put on those virtual reality glasses and charge billions, maybe millions of dollars, to operate some rich guy who's living in a different part of the world, and now he doesn't have to travel. There's a, you know,
right,
he doesn't have to
you can
travel.
do it.
Yeah, you can do it wirelessly from a different part of the world. So I think with every technology, like internet changed the world. With the internet, all the other technologies also. Right now, with the fast computer, I can do a lot more things much faster than I would have done with a slow computer. So,
Right. And then the smartphone changed.
yeah,
It changed the internet.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago. Smartphones came out what 2007, 2008.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the time that I clearly remember the time when I used to have those sad smartphones. Like I remember the time when we used to have black and white phones with touch and all that, like Nokia 1100s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it
Those
was
Nokias were indestructible though.
yeah,
Like they would survive anything.
yeah,
Those Nokias were just like a brick. You could have built a house out of those things.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then with the color phone, I was in school when the color phones came out, and somebody owning a color phone was a luxury. Like, what, your dad owns a color phone? Your dad thinks it's crazy.
Right.
So just holding a color phone, the phone that has color, that was a crazy idea back then. But then
Right.
I remember this really sad what do you call smartphones that came out, like Nokia 5800s, that had like resistive touchscreen, where you'd actually
Yeah.
have to touch the screen really hard for an action to take place.
Yeah.
And now it's just and that wasn't that long ago. Like I have backups from those phones, like photograph backups from those phones with me on my laptop right now. Now
Yeah.
it's just it's everything.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And I how old were you when you got your first cell phone?
I think I must have been maybe 16, 15, 16.
Yeah. Yeah, it was on my 16th birthday,
Oh,
and my parents bought the phone, but they said you have 1 month, but then from now on you have to pay for it.
oh,
So like you have to pay for the monthly bill.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, 16 was me, but then like my younger siblings, they got them when they were like 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got this. I got my first phone. There was a Chinese phone. We had these Chinese. Now Chinese phones without IMEI number are actually illegal in India. You can't really buy them anymore. So back then they weren't. And we used to have these phone markets where you. I think I was 14 when I just got that phone. It was just the additional this thing, because the technology in that phone was crazy back then. There was the phone. Like the phone was this huge, and the phone had like a really long antenna. You could pull it out really long.
Yeah,
And
I can see it.
yeah, and the what do you call the phone would catch all the channels that are there in the air. The free channels
Yeah.
that were there in the air, so you could watch live TV, whatever, like one or two channels only it caught. That was the technology. And like you can carry your TV along. That was
Yeah, like,
crazy.
whoa, look, I'm watching cricket. Like,
Yeah, that phone broke really in a funny way, because I bought that phone, and after a month, and I used to charge it regularly, but after a month I put the phone on charge with the plug sort of plugged in, And when I plugged it out, the port from the phone came out, you know.
It just came out.
It just
It
came
just
out
stayed on the charger.
with the charger, you know. I'm like, what? And then I had to
Oh
stand.
wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's crazy. And I even like the computers that we used to have in our house. Like I'm like, how did I? Like there's no memory, there's no processing. There's actually there's that funny quote from Bill Gates. I'm just gonna paraphrase because I can't remember it exactly,
Yeah,
but he said something like, I don't know why anyone would need more than 52 megabytes of information or memory or something,
yeah,
and
yeah,
now we're in terabytes. Like
yeah.
it's
It's crazy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's also do you know the author Michael Crichton?
No.
Well, you probably know some of the movies that were made from his books. Like he wrote the book Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and a couple other movies that they made from him. One was called Sphere. One was called Congo.
Yeah.
But they're kind of older, like made in the 80s or early 90s. But Congo, he wrote it in the 60s, and there's a part I recently reread it, and it's funny hearing them talk about computers because I mean, computers in the 60s were like in a
Yeah.
whole room,
Yeah.
and they're talking about how they were out in the field and they had these computers that were so small they could fit in a vehicle, like so small they could fit in a vehicle, and it's really funny reading like oh, and the way because he wrote it in the 60s, so he like wrote it in a way that's like, oh, this is the fastest and maybe the fastest it ever will be, and like, and then of course now we have the benefit of hindsight, so we know that's clearly not true, but
Yeah. It's
yeah,
crazy. And also, like in the way these technological development works, I find it a little funny at times, or probably weird. Like my phone, the first one that I had, like the Android smartphone, had like thick bezels on top, on top of it, and bezels and a button and all that. Like we used to have the touch button. Now the phone
yeah,
has like a in-screen fingerprint scanner that I can use and unlock it with, and no bezels. There's a
yeah,
normal display and all that. But I think if the development sort of happens stage by stage, because there's a consumer culture, probably a consumerism that's involved in that, because the company want to, like they can may work on the technologies. Like right now, have you seen those cameras that have like a pop-up thing that comes out like for the front camera? Have you seen
yeah.
that?
I saw them in India actually. There was a lot of advertisements.
Yeah,
I was there in April. There was a big cricket tournament,
yeah, I think
and
yeah. So you were here this April?
yeah, I was in Mumbai. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the pop-up camera and all that are becoming like a crazy thing. But I know for a fact that in a few days the pop-up camera would also go away, and they would just have like cameras that are in the screen. Like they have the fingerprint scanner in the screen, but they will not
right.
come out with a camera that's in the screen already, because they
Yeah,
must business that they would make of the pop-up cameras. So they would come out with
yeah,
that. I'm sure they have the technology already, so they don't like jump off of technological development. They don't, like, from a normal phone. They didn't just immediately create a smartphone, even if they had the technology, because the business is that you sell both of those devices. You sell the devices with the pop-up, and you sell those devices with the camera in the screen.
right. Yeah, it is. The business aspect of it can be infuriating because
Yeah,
you had the technology, but you're making me update.
yeah,
You want me to keep buying it all of the time. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I did read an interesting article that predicted in like within 10 years that most
Mhm.
people won't have a smartphone. That
Oh,
like that mostly they were arguing for wearables, not just glasses, but like watches and things like that.
yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. I didn't like finish reading it and say, oh, they're right, but it did make me think like, what is after the smartphone? Like, what
Yeah.
is like?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I read an interesting article myself around this. It was more into the sci-fi realms, and it talked about in a few years there'd be technology like we have those virtual reality glasses. Have you seen them?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'd have those virtual reality glasses with computing power so strong, and would be so small, so like the what do you call, the machinery and all of that, that the entire thing would be so small that could be fitted in the virtual reality glass itself. And you put those on you, and you can live a different life altogether. You can simulate like entire universes, an entire world that's in there, just in your virtual reality glasses.
That's so crazy to think about. Yeah,
And you live like a fictional life. Maybe you build your story there for certain leeways, and it's like a game that you play.
yeah,
Uh, so you put them on, and you lose yourself. You're in a different world now.
yeah.
And now the second part of the article said that what if all of that has already happened? And we we are a part of the simulation of those higher beings. Somebody who's wearing those virtual reality glasses, and
Yeah,
we are part of it. And it's all just a game. The
right.
consciousness is a game of
And
those higher beings.
and how would you know, right? How would you know that you're just a simulation?
Exactly, and maybe that's why you sleep. So probably the sleeping, all of this sounds really logical to us now. That sleep, we say, why do you sleep? We sleep because rest is really important. But what is the concept of rest? Where did it come from? Why is it even there?
Mhm.
Or if this is probably when we rest, they actually remove their virtual reality glasses. There's a schedule for that. They remove their glasses and they do something else with their lives.
Right. Yeah, that's it's really that. I mean, I know Elon Musk believes that it's a simulation, that
Yeah,
we're all in a simulation. He definitely does. Yeah,
yeah,
interesting to think about. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah. Like there's a video game I like to play, Civilization. So I wonder if it's, or I guess it's like we're Sims, right? Just like The
Yeah,
Sims. Yeah.
yeah, just like The Sims. Yeah. I used to like that game a lot. It's somehow just doesn't work on my laptop anymore. I have a
Sims.
gaming console, The Sims, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't work on my laptop anymore. I have a gaming console I had downloaded since, but the game was really interesting.
Yeah.
Have you played the game?
I never played Sim. I used to play Sim City,
Oh, yeah,
and
I played SimCity as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
SimCity was really nice.
yeah. I have a Nintendo Switch, and
Oh,
it makes sense being a traveler, right? Like always traveling. It's
yeah.
I
How much
mostly.
did they get for?
How much did I pay for it?
Yeah.
I think around $280,
Yeah.
$300,
Okay.
something like that. I've
Yeah.
been really
It is.
impressed with it. They did a really good job with the Switch.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean it's
Uh,
I've been playing Skyrim a lot, so
mhm.
it plays really well on it, and but it's like big console quality, like PlayStation or Xbox quality games, and it's mobile, it's portable. Like I don't need a television to play it. Like I can,
Yeah.
it's really a good little device. Like I've been impressed.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently bought Xbox One,
Yeah,
and that's the first gaming console that I've ever bought. Like not ever bought. I used to have this Nintendo DS for this.
yeah.
It was long back ago when I was a kid. I bought this Nintendo DS, and I used to play on that a lot. But I somehow lost the stylus that came along with it,
Ah,
and and I started using toothpicks instead.
did it work?
It did, but the screen sort of is. I rendered it useless after a little while. I
Uh,
scratched it so much.
yeah,
This, but it still works. It's just that I don't. The battery is all swollen up. The charger is lost, but I still have that with me.
yeah, yeah. It happened. So, what games do you play on your Xbox?
Uh, a lot. I'm not a big fan in general of gaming, but certain games I end up liking a lot. Like I like Battlefield a lot, so I played that. I like FIFA a lot on this, so
Yeah, FIFA's fun.
yeah, I've played a lot of FIFA. UFC is also really nice at times. And there's this game that I'm playing recently which I forget the name of. Yeah, but it's a fun game. But I don't do that often. Like not even on weekends. I don't. I use it more for Netflix and watching Amazon Prime videos and more than gaming. I rarely play any games on it.
Yeah, I mean
Not more.
that's what both a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. It's more like an entertainment device
Yeah, yeah,
than
yeah,
just a gaming console.
yeah.
Yeah,
The game is just the additional thing that's there. So if somebody comes over and wants to play game,
yeah. Let's play FIFA. Yeah,
yeah, it's a FIFA. It's all right. So that's when I actually use it for gaming.
yeah,
Other than that, like on my free time, I would very rarely play a game. I'm more of a mouse and a keyboard guy when it comes to online games, or games like real games. more comfortable with the mouse and keyboard than on the controller. It's
Yeah.
just so difficult to use it to aim it like this, like the two this thing that you
Yeah,
use.
it takes a lot of skill and practice.
Yeah, and a lot of practice. I don't want to spend so much time. That's a skill that I don't want to have.
Right, exactly. I understand. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mostly play mine on bus rides and on plane rides. Like when I'm stuck in a box and I'm like, okay, I'll pull out my Switch and I'll get some gaming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of the normal. I think with the. Have you played PUBG like on a smartphone?
I haven't. I'm not a big first-person shooter. I don't really like the shooter games.
What kind of games do you play then?
Well, actually, my favorite that's now on Xbox. It used to be only on PlayStation 4, but my favorite game I played on my old PS4 was No Man's Sky. Like,
No Man's Sky.
yeah, it's like space exploration, and I mean, it appeals to my wanderlust, my
Mhm.
desire to explore, and you could build your base, and you like collect different minerals and things, and I really liked it a lot. I also like the like open world,
Oh, okay.
like
Yeah, I heard.
so like I've been playing Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Skyrim,
Mhm.
and I mean I played Mario, of course. There's also they have a new Civilization game out, and I like playing Civilization. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I like PUBG also a little. Like I'm not a big fan. I'm not all crazy about PUBG.
yeah,
I like to play it every. But I mean, if a friend is playing along, it's just that then it looks really interesting to me.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, but I'm for me also I'm a big fan of what do you call it? The open world games
yeah,
with GTA.
yes, yeah.
GTA I like a lot, and there's this game called what's that thief game called? I forget the name of the game.
Assassin's Creed, is that the one?
No. It's a thief who can hack things. You know, he can hack anything, and he controls everything by hacking. I
I don't
forget the name.
I don't know if I know
Uh,
it.
okay, it's this. No, I can't remember the name. It's a nice game. It'll come back. I'll tell you.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, no, it's. I think I'm a lot like you too. I enjoy video games, but I don't play them a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's more of a situational thing. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I just really want to play some video games, but uh, most
Yeah.
of the time, I'd say most of my free time, like my favorite activities, I love to read. I read a lot,
Yeah.
and
So do I. So do
yeah,
I.
yeah. And then because I'm always traveling, I like finding a good coffee shop and then
Mhm.
spending time in the coffee shop writing postcards. I just love. It's my favorite form of communication. It's like
Postcards, you
yeah,
said?
postcards. I literally like I even have it right here, but like I just have like a huge stack of just postcards that
Wow.
that I keep with me because I don't know. I think it's a beautiful way to communicate. It's simple, but it makes people happy. I don't know.
Simple.
Yeah,
Yeah. Receiving a postcard now, like, would be at a time like this when I could have easily WhatsApped you. Receiving a postcard from somebody is, I think, is really special.
right, exactly. And I mean, you get the physical thing. You can actually hold it. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, like I know my
Yeah.
mom loves getting them from me. I send them to my niece and nephews. Like they're young. Like my niece is 6, like she can barely read, but it's just like,
The
whoa.
fact that the fact that everybody else who's handling the package or the postcard is also reading your postcard.
Yeah, I
So,
like that. I like that idea. Like, and I like that also. You get like my handwriting. Like everything is so digital, right? You get like it's not like I have really like pretty handwriting. It's just it's like in a way it's like a part of me. I'm like here's a gift
uh,
for me.
so
Yeah,
then I think to a certain extent that would only make sense to send it off to people who live far away from you. Like if I send it to a colleague who sits right next to me, it'll be a little, you know,
I think you could
awkward.
make it funny. Like I think you could do that. Like it would. I mean, maybe not all the time, but like if you just wrote them something and were like, "Hey, 2 weeks ago this happened. I'm just reminding you," or something like that. You know, like
Yeah, it can be fun like that. Yeah,
yeah, like you
it would be
could.
nice. I want to try that soon.
Yeah, like I think that's a good idea. I think that would be like, whoa, like, and I'm sure if you sent it, it would be there in a couple of days, right? Like I mean, I guess I don't know how good India Post is, but the postcards I sent from India arrived in U.S. pretty quickly. Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
and I also
yeah.
I like that they had the stamps for Mother Teresa, and
Mhm.
like my mother's name
Yeah.
is Teresa, and so I was like, isn't it perfect? You got a Mother Teresa stamp, and you're my Mother Teresa, you know, like.
That's must be nice.
Yeah.
Also, like I used to work at a five-star hotel's concierge. Uh, I've handled a lot of postcards from people from around the world. So I used to I was responsible to send them out. And at times I would just take them out, and there's not a lot of guests around. I would just read through them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I think all the time. I hope other people read this.
Yeah. I mean, that's the intention behind it. There's nothing personal, so you don't feel like you're opening somebody else's letter of sorts.
Right.
It's just a post. It's written like that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
Yeah.
like sometimes I'll be silly. I'll only write a couple words. I might just send one that just says, "Hey, wish you were here." That's it. And I mean, just hey, cool, and that's where they are. Like it's yeah. It,
I always used to wonder when they used to send out messages with parrots, parrots or pigeons.
yeah.
I used to. Did that actually happen? You think that actually
Well, I
happened?
do know that because what they do is they're called homing pigeons, and they remember where their home is. And
Mhm.
so if you let them out, they fly back to that place. So what they would do is they take pigeons from their home, take them to wherever they were, write a note, and then that pigeon